I Came By is a 2022 British horror and crime film, and the cast, a lot of the actors are featured in prominent movies. It's a really solid fucking plot, quite astonishing actually. The description and the first thing that appears when you search the title of the movie online looks and sounds so ludicrous and insipid, but it doesn't do it really any justice. But it's a fucking concoction. The recipe for this one was overclocked on drugs, post-pumping, nerve-wracking action in a state of flux. So the characters Toby and his mate Jay, played by George MacKay and Percelle Ascott, are two dodgy urban fellow delinquents, balaclava bandits who break into homes of the wealthy, the upper echelons of society in London, and leaving the message, I came by. But astonishingly and conversely, they would never steal anything, as they adhere to their scrupulous rules to not steal or to destruct anything, to inculcate their ideology and leave a leery impression and an impression of them having the moral high ground, the dignity and class to have the temerity to break in and execute a simple message, intimidating the homeowners and leaving them quizzical and in a state where they're contemplating their safety. The characters are awkwardly, incongruously amalgamated together, and it's turgid, wonky, higgledy-piggledy, topsy-turvy, clusterfuck brigade. Now, for fuck's sakes, it's absolutely ludicrous to come to logical terms with reality that he's an unemployed 23-year-old bloke living with his mum in an old flat in the vicinity of Southwark, Vauxhall, Camberwell, proper dodgy South London areas, and he exerts all of his bloody time into risking it for a biscuit just to spray a frivolous message and to not make any tangible profit. The plot is suspenseful, and this movie definitely needed to be suspenseful and not have any foreshadowing, adumbrated bullshit. So now Jay has a child that is more mature and his shit sorted out and doesn't want to act like a wanker. He wants to extricate and distance himself from Toby's delinquency, and Jay throws Toby under the bus and calls the police in private to investigate him after Toby tries to coax him before he becomes coerced, the slippery slope, to join in on Toby's next target, which is targeting a former High Court judge, where they can really inculcate their message and stick the finger to them. Toby breaks into the home of the rich former judge named Hector, who's not Hispanic or Portuguese or anything. He's an old English bloke despite the name, and he's played by Hugh Bonneville. As a revelation, they do uncover that he worked on the section of rights pertaining to sexual orientation and transgender identity, in equality to the criminal justice system and other woke bullshit. Don't know why it had to get into the identity politics. It had to be solid, which is it seems to be the fucking prerequisite to movies on Netflix, especially during COVID. It's totalitarian rainbow worship because they can't tolerate biological reality. It's a psychological pathogen. What is interpreted as an older English bloke, a wealthy English gentleman, but is also hell-bent on woke virtue signalling characteristics, which aligns with his murders and malevolence, and woke low impulse control. It's tone-deaf virtue signalling bullshit, moral lectures. So Toby uncovers some disturbing photographs whilst he's in Hector's basement, loaded with ceramics, and he gets spooked and dashes the fuck out when Hector returns home. So Toby decides to leave his mum's flat to further pursue his delinquency after his mum lectures him on being an unemployed, brokey, dodgy, urban fellow chav and gets all jostly. Now, he's hell-bent with his curiosity being intrigued to see what's in that basement that he didn't manage to thoroughly uncover the previous time, so he returns to Hector's home and sees an emaciated individual who's barely able to speak, and it's revealed that he's a gay LGBTQ HGTV 4K plus whatever you call them Iranian asylum seeker who Hector has offered to grant permanent residency, the alphabet people, because of the anecdotal connection of the Iranians asylum seekers route, which was the same route that Hector's father took to subsequently immigrate to Britain, and Toby instinctively tries to rescue that individual, but Toby gets beat with a cricket bat and dies by Hector. Curiosity kills the cat, and that scene just cuts. And there's some insidious scenes where he gets cremated and his ashes get flushed down the toilet by Hector. Another one bites the dust. Plus que ton gelas is honte rencontrer les destins. Jai's mother Liz is getting foreboding trepidations, and Liz decides to take matters into her own hands and enters Hector's home, and she gets strangled by Hector. It just kicks off, it all goes mad. And the next scene features her in a room where Hector is dissecting the guy asylum seeker's body, all disemboweled, and reveals to the mother that he disposed his son's ashes down the toilet. And subsequently, in retrospect, he reciprocates what he did with Toby to Liz. The Met Police investigate Hector's home and find the suspicious room that's located behind the shelving in the basement, and they arrest him not because of anything incriminating, but because of the fact he intimidated one of the officers and slagged her off, the fraudulent slip of the tongue, vocal cord violations. Eventually Hector gets released with nepotism through people who he knows, so he manages to have his ass vindicated. Now, Jay is hell-bent on hunting down Hector, and he manages to beat the fucking shit out of him. Absolute bloodbath, blood saturated everywhere. The film is overloaded on drugs. It does have flesh-piercing, flesh-grazing bloodshed, and a thorough plot, just with awkward, bullshit character dynamics like a sausage at a synagogue. It's a bit of a stretch far out.